Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So let us take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the essence of all Vedic scriptures. Sarva Shastrabdi Piyusha, Sarva Vedaika Satphala, Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadya, Sarva Vedaika Drikprada. It's the gem of all the Vedic literatures. And how fortunate we are to be in touch with the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Krishna himself. Jai. And I apologize for yesterday because there was some storm and I couldn't get online. And I have missed this study of Bhagavatam. Okay, I think we stopped here as Maitreya. So Brahma, we just noticed Brahma becoming enamored and lustful towards Vak, the daughter, and then he heard his son's sincere prayers and he actually changed his mind. And then a sense of remorse came to him, and then he immediately gave up his previous disposition. The lusty temperament that Brahma shed appeared like a thick fog, which cast everything into darkness. So that's some very intense situation was happening. We stopped there. But, somebody likes to start reading from here as Maitreya's account ended.
I read?
Please. Yeah.
As Maitreya's account ended, Vidura looked relieved. It seems the merciful Lord saved Brahma, who is after all his sincere devotee. Indeed, it is only by his grace that anyone can be protected from the allurement of lust. Maitreya agreed. To emphasize Brahma's greatness, he recounted how by Krishna's grace the Vedas manifested from his four mouths. When did this happen? Asked Vidura. It was when Brahma was considering how he should go about recreating the universe. Replied Maitreya, you see, the method of creation is given in the Vedas. Therefore, the Lord imbued his heart with that knowledge to help him carry out his service. Along with the Vedas, the four kinds of sacrificial paraphernalia also became manifest. These are the two priests who chant mantras and offer oblations, the fire, and the rituals. The principles of religion, truth, austerity, mercy, and cleanliness, also appeared, as did the duties required for the different varnas and ashramas. Vidura's eyes glowed with admiration for Maitreya. O great sage, due to your wealth of penance, you have knowledge unknown to others. Kindly satisfy my curiosity. I would like to know how and with whose help Brahma established the Vedic wisdom which emanated from his mouth. Maitreya said, from Brahma's eastern mouth the Rig Veda manifested, which imparts hota, or correct chanting of mantras. From his southern mouth the Yajur Veda manifested, which establishes Atharva, or sacrificial performance. From his western mouth the Samaveda appeared, which teaches Ugata, or appropriate hymns to be sung in worship. The Atharvaveda came from Brahma's northern mouth, which teaches remedial measures in case of mistakes. After these principles Vedas, Brahma created the supplementary Vedas. These contain the sciences known as Ayurveda, or medical knowledge, Dhanurveda, or military science, Gandharvam, or musical arts, and Sthapatyam, or architectural science. They all emanated one after another from his four mouths, beginning from his front face. Then from all his mouths he created the Puranas, volumes of spiritually instructive history from all over the universe and many different kalpas, as well as the two itihasas or epic histories, the Mahabharata and Ramayana. Together all these are known as the fifth Veda. There are many types of fire sacrifice requiring different paraphernalia, mantras, and rituals. All these came from Brahma's eastern mouth. Vidura said, earlier you mentioned that four principles of religion, along with the duties of the Varnas and Ashramas, came from Brahma. Please explain their connection. Yes, of course, replied Maitreya. The Varnas are the vocational divisions of society. Brahmins who teach and guide, Kshatriyas who protect and rule, Vaishyas who generate wealth and agriculture, and Shudras who take employment from one of the other Varnas. All these vocations were systematically planned and created by Brahma so that everyone in society can attain self realization. For the vocations to work successfully together with the aim of spiritual advancement, people must be trained in four virtues. Each virtue is primarily practiced at different stages of life, known as the ashramas. Maitreya explained that the four virtues which correlate to the four ashramas are education, charity, penance, and truth. The first ashrama is the life of celibate student, known as brahmachari life, where education is the principal virtue practiced. In the second stage of life, grihastha ashrama or married life, husband and wife, though allowed to gratify their sensual desires, are also obliged to practice the virtue of charity. In the third stage of life, Vanprastha ashram, when husband and wife retire from the comforts of home life, the key virtue they must cultivate is penance. Finally, one in the renowned stage of life, the sannyasa ashram is meant to preach the absolute truth to the people in general. I am still not clear how these ashramas advance one in self-realization, said Vidura. Please describe them in more detail. Maitreya explained that education was meant to teach students the importance of the human form of life and to encourage them to become free from family encumbrances so they could wholeheartedly engage in devotional service. With this in mind, Brahma inaugurated the thread-giving ceremony that initiates a brahmachari as twice born. This means the spiritual master considers him suitable to receive Vedic knowledge. There are four grades of brahmachari life. A Savitra brahmachari remains celibate for 3 nights after accepting initiation. A Prajapatya brahmachari remains celibate for a year. A Brahma brahmachari remains celibate until his education in the Vedas is complete, and the Brihat brahmachari remains celibate until the end of his life. All these four types of brahmachari arose from Brahma's four mouths. Maitreya then explained how there are also four means of.
Okay, let's pause there. This point about different kinds of brahmachari, it's relevant understanding because sometimes within our organization when we see some brahmachari getting married, there's such a misunderstanding. People say all sorts of things. Oh, he's falling down, and then they think it's a failure that he's entering grihastha ashram and this and that. And sometimes there's the understanding that, oh, somebody who takes brahmacharya is this brihat brahmachari or something. But obviously, that's not actually the vow that they take when they put on saffron, not necessarily, and it's not supposed to be like that. Brahmachari becoming a grihastha is always like next stage of life, and it's not like a degradation or something. But within our organization, somehow or another, there is this thing like, oh, if a brahmachari changes back to white or something like that, then he's considered to be like fallen or something like that. And I think it's a big misconception. And this clarifies things like it's a stage of life. Brahmacharya is a stage of life in most cases, unless it's like Brihat Brahmachari. But in the Shastra, it's like when I said, like when in our movement, when somebody takes on Brahmachari ashram, obviously it's not done like, oh, the Brihat Brahmachari category. It's usually the category of like, okay, until this person completes whatever a stage of life, education, studying, like that. Of course, you may say, when will he finish studying? Never, right? That never ends. But this, I found it to be interesting, like important. Sometimes there's misunderstanding that somebody who gives up brahmacharya ashram is falling down or something like that. It's a misconception, misunderstanding. And also this whole thing of getting initiated, etc., is basically it's a step towards, okay, you're qualified now to study Vedic knowledge. You're ready to receive Vedic knowledge. It's not the end. Sometimes I think, oh, initiation is like the end. No, initiation is the beginning. It's the beginning of discovering self-realization and studying of the Vedas. It's not the end. Okay. Any other comments?
That's so nice. I remember when I was trying to get first initiation, and I was thinking like, this is it. Because then our requirement to get first initiation, right? Like so much of, like, we have to come up to that, whatever level that the guru is expecting. Like, oh my God, like it's difficult. But I living like an animal. And then coming to at least that, that human form of human platform, like Srila Prabhupada says, that itself is like an achievement in Kali Yuga, I guess. At least for me it was.
Yeah.
And then I remembered in the class one is like, he's saying, God, this is just the beginning. It's just the beginning. It's not like it's so nice.
Yeah. I'm thinking like, for example, somebody says, once I just have to make it to, say, medical school, then your life is set. Then they make it to the school and they're like, oh my God, the first year, that's it. Then it'll be easy. And then the last year of medical school, then it's going to be, and then you just have to like become the intern, and then you have to become the senior. This never ends, right? So it's similar about Vedic knowledge. Like first initiation, once you take initiation, oh my God, you're just set, but it's actually just a beginning. And then, second initiation, once I become a Brahmana, then my life is set. And then, okay, that's another stage. But then, there's always progress. There's always like, how do you say, growth is never ending, in spiritual life.
It's like more responsibility, actually. I feel like that. There's more responsibility.
That's true.
Yeah. Like even like modeling a good behavior for others, that's also there. Plus our own behavior is so much accountable. And plus now our guru's image also will be playing, right? If we are not able to behave properly. And then people think like this person is so and so's result so bad, like they'll think, right? Usually they'll connect it back to the guru most of the time. So they're like more responsibility, I feel. Sorry, I can't hear your voices. I'm not sure. Yeah, now I can hear.
And I was thinking of the example also of sometimes we think once I get married, right, I'm settled down, set for life. Then we get married and like, well, oh, if I have a child, then I'll be set. And then you have a child, then you have to take care of the child. And then once I have another child, then our family is complete. And then, you know, as you said, like every step, the responsibility is what is increasing. When we marry, the responsibility is increasing. When we have children, the responsibility is increasing. And I'm just thinking that's a good analogy in this case as well.
I just recently was like hearing this brahmachari from Pune. He's like explaining, and he was saying this what he said married life is considered like blind well, right? Andakupa. So what are your realizations? He's just like asking to people on the call. Most of them are like grahasthas like that. And then person is like, no, as a woman, I'm very happy. Women should always be sheltered by father or the husband. So I'm very happy, you know, I'm sheltered in the ashram from my husband. By that, and I feel safe to practice my devotional services. Like, yeah, good. Any difference, anything else? And then I'm just asking them, why is Shastra saying that? And slowly, then he himself like was like answering, and then he said, it is a blind well when you don't have Krishna in the center. When we have Krishna in the center, it's an ashrama. Ashrama means there is a resting place like that. So we have Krishna, we are keeping Krishna in the center of our family and we are continuing. Then that's why it's called Grahastha Ashram. Otherwise, it's called a Grahamedi, who's just like, you know, their only idea is just to enjoy. So that part he said. And one more something which he said, which was even more beautiful, which touched me, was he was trying to say, oh, brahmacharis are ones who hear about this difficulty in material world, and then they said, oh, I don't want to go through all this for this, and then they just remain like that, just by hearing, they learn and they continue. And the grahastha says, like, they hear, they just want to experience it, and they realize the frustration, and then they'll realize. So either way, there is that purification which will happen. And doesn't mean it's a cakewalk for brahmacharis. We also go through purification, just like grahasthas. So both places, there is purification only that's going to happen. So whatever suits suits our personality, we should accept like that. I was like, wow. Sometimes I always think of brahmacharis and think like, they're so lucky, right? These men, they just don't have to get married, have kids and all that. And then they're just serving and but then the way he said was like, there is purification here also. Who says there's no purification? Everyone is undergoing purification. We all have our own challenges. And it's not easy. Like, you know, I was like, wow.
Absolutely. Good point. Yeah. You have a child, then there's one kind of purification. You don't have a child, there's another kind of purification. So there's always something. Okay, I want to finish this chapter today. So let's read a little bit more. Let's start here.
It was life, that one. The previous one. Yes, here. And to encourage them from here.
Okay. Saroni,
to
would you like
encourage.
to...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No, I mean, just everybody.
Yeah. Should I go ahead?
Where is it, Rasistali? This one, no?
Life, that life was the last word. Yeah.
Okay.
The first word, life. Yeah.
Okay. Life, and to encourage them to become free from family encumbrances. So they could wholeheartedly engage in devotional service. With this in mind, Brahma inaugurated the thread-giving ceremony that initiates a brahmachari as twice born. This means the spiritual master considers him suitable to receive Vedic knowledge. There are 4 grades of brahmachari life. Savitra brahmachari.
We finished that, no?
Huh?
Yeah, we finished it.
I'm here. Maitreya then explain.
Maitreya then explained how they are also 4 means of, next page. Livelihood for married men, helpful to self-realization, each of which was similarly generated from Rama's 4 mouths. These are vrata, or maintaining oneself by an occupation recommended in the Vedas, such as agriculture, Sanchaya, or performing sacrifices, Salina, or accepting alms without begging, and Siloncha, or gathering fallen grains from the fields. Maitreya described the four divisions of Vanaprastha ashram, or retired life. These are Vaikhanasa Vanaprasthas, who live on uncultivated food grains, Valak, Valakilya Vanaprasthas, who similarly live on wild grains, but who in addition never hoard food. When acquiring new grains, they give away the old ones. Then they are Odambara Vanaprasthas, who eat fruits or grains gathered when walking in the direction they first happened to look at when walking in the morning, and Venapa Vanaprasthas, who live off grains or fruits which have naturally fallen on the ground. Maitreya concluded by describing the four types of sannyas ashram, or renounced life. The first is the Kuti Chaka, who makes a cottage outside his village and accepts food bought from his previous home. He does not have any interaction with his family. Rather, he is intent on performing the duties of sannyas life, such as austerity, deep study, and meditation. The second is the Bhavoda, who procures food by begging from door to door. This stage is sometimes called Bahudaka. The third is the Hamsa, who also preaches as he goes door to door from one region to another. This stage of sannyas life is also known as Parivrajakakaraj. Oh,
Parivrajakakarya.
yeah,
Parivrajakakarya.
okay. The fourth and the final stage of sannyas is known as Naishkriya, which is the most advanced as he has attained self-realization. This is also known as Paramahamsa. Also, these stages of Vanaprastha and sannyas life arose from Brahma's four mouths. Vidura said, "Today, by your grace, I fully understand how by practicing correctly the duties of each ashram, one will achieve spiritual perfection. Kindly tell me what else Brahma created from his own body." Maitreya explained that Brahma's four mouths also generated the science of logical argument, the four Vedic goals of life, namely dharma or religiosity, artha or economic development, kama or sense gratification, and moksha or liberation, and the celebrated mystical sounds known as Vyaritis, which are pronounced in conjunction with the chanting of Om. These Vyaritis are Bhu, Bhuva, and Swaha. The sound Om, which is correctly known as the Pranava Omkara, manifested from Brahma's heart. Maitreya next is described how the different types of poetic meter used in Vedic composition came about. Ushnik, with 28 syllables, arose from Brahma's bodily hairs. Gayatri, with 24 syllables, arose from his skin. Trishap, what is it? Trishatup, with 24 syllables, arose from his muscles. Anushtup, with 32 syllables, arose from his veins. Jagati, with 48 syllables, arose from his bones. Panki, with 40 syllables, arose from his bone marrow. Brihati, with 36 syllables, arose from his life breath. The sounds of the alphabet also came from Brahma. In the Sanskrit alphabet, there are 35 consonants, 13 vowels, and 4 semi-vowels.
Interesting.
The first 25 consonants, which are called sparshas or nasal sounds, arose from Brahma's soul. There are 13 vowels, which came from his body. The sibilant alphabets, which are those sounds characterized by a hissing sound, came from Brahma's senses. There are also 4 semi-vowels, which arise from his bodily strength. The 7 notes of music arose from Brahma's playfulness. Interested to learn that the consonants arose from Brahma's soul, Vidura said, "I think I understand now why the Vedas are called Shabda Brahma, a spiritual sound. Their origin is spirit." Wow. Maitreya said, actually, all the letters used to compile the Vedas are spiritual. In fact, Brahma is known as an incarnation of transcendental sound.
You know, there is something called sound healing, sound therapy, and how every mantra has certain syllables, and those certain syllables cure certain kinds of diseases, and they can cure certain kind of mental weaknesses. So sound is Very, very powerful. And the vibration of that sound, like Hare Krishna mantra, it has this specific vibration, which actually can cure a lot of things.
How is that, Asvidaram? How is that, Asvidaram? Are not some of the sounds of the alphabet coming from Brahma's material body? Maitri replied, try to understand Brahma's greatness. He represents both the Lord's personal form and the impersonal Brahman. He is invested with Krishna's multifarious energies, from which all the gods like Indra, Chandra, and Varna are manifested. Vidura was astonished in hearing of Brahma's greatness. Thinking back to the incident with Brahma's daughter Vak, he said, now I understand why Brahma should not be condemned like an ordinary living entity for the indiscretion with Vak. As you earlier suggested, he must have had a higher purpose for exhibiting such a tendency. Still, I have heard that Brahma later married goddess Saraswati. Since he has a spiritual body, why would he marry? Clearly pleased with Vidura's austere inquiry, Maitreya said, when he was first attracted to Vak, his body was transcendental, as you say, and sex life was therefore forbidden. He therefore gave up that body and accepted another in which sex life was allowed. He then further engaged himself in the matter of creation. I see, said Vidura. Did Brahma and his 11 sons create the entire universal population? Rama shook his head. Brahma saw that although his sons were powerful, still there were insufficient population. He was mystified. Although he and his sons were fully engaged in procreation everywhere in the universe, somehow there was not enough inhabitants being generated. He felt that there could be no other cause for this misfortune but destiny. While he was thinking like this, he observed a supernatural phenomenon. From the two halves of his body, two other forms were generated, one male and the other female. Even now, this couple are known as Brahma's body. This man and woman later engaged in sexual intercourse to help populate the universe. What are their names? asked Vidura. The man became known as Swayambhuva Manu, and the woman became his queen, Shatarupa. It was due to their union that the universal population began to sufficiently increase. How many children did they have? asked Vidura. Swayambhuva and Shatarupa only had 5 children. Their grandchildren, however, populated the world. Please tell me the children's name, asked Vidura. They have 2 sons and 3 daughters. Their sons' names were Priyavrata and Uttanapat. The daughters' names are Akruti, Devahuti, and Prasuti. Who did the daughters marry? asked Vidura. Manu handed over his first daughter, Akruti, to sage Ruchi. The middle daughter, Devahuti, he gave it to sage Kartama in marriage. His youngest daughter, Prasuti, married Daksha. Their children and grandchildren were numerous. Listen, and I shall describe what happened next. It's the end of the chapter, I think, right?
Okay, we'll stop there today. Yeah, this ends the chapter. And then we have epilogue. Okay, that we'll do. We'll do this tomorrow. And we can also read some of the appendix just to kind of refresh our memory. And we'll also read, I will also show you the table, the gene table of Manu and Shatarupa and Akuti and Devahuti and Prasuti, who they married and how that lineage continued. And, it's very relevant for us because that's basically Bhagavatam story. Thank you very much for your attention. And I'm going to start chanting. I woke up late because last night I finished my rounds. You know my vow, right? So I had rounds